In life, many people have big dreams. They want success. They want respect. They want a better future. But there is one thing that silently stops them from moving forward: excuses. Excuses are small words that feel harmless, but over time, they slowly steal our dreams. We tell ourselves that tomorrow will be better. We promise that we will start soon. But somehow that soon never comes. Today's story is about a young man who realized this truth in a powerful way, and the day he stopped making excuses became the day his life truly began. So listen carefully, because this simple story hides an important lesson for life. Once there was a young man named Steve. Steve was 27 years old and lived in a small town. He was intelligent, talented, and full of ideas. Whenever he talked with his friends, he spoke about his big dreams. He wanted to start a business. He wanted to become successful. He wanted to change his life. But there was a problem. Steve never actually started anything. Whenever he planned to work on his dream, an excuse appeared. I'm too tired today. I'll start next week. I don't have enough money yet. My situation isn't perfect. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And slowly, months turned into years. But Steve's life stayed exactly the same. One evening, Steve was sitting alone in his small room. Rain was falling outside the window, and the room felt unusually quiet. He opened his phone and started scrolling through social media. Suddenly, he saw something that made him stop. One of his old classmates had just posted about opening his own company. Another friend had shared photos of his new office. Someone else had written about achieving their long-time goal. Steve stared at the screen. In silence, a strange feeling filled his heart. He wasn't jealous. He was disappointed in himself. These were the same friends who once sat beside him in school. They had the same 24 hours in a day. They faced difficulties too. So why were they moving forward while he was standing still? For the first time, Steve asked himself an honest question. Have I really tried? Or have I only been making excuses? That question echoed in his mind. At that moment, he realized something painful but powerful. The biggest obstacle in his life was not lack of money. It was not lack of opportunity. It was not bad luck. The biggest obstacle was his excuses. Every time life became uncomfortable, he chose the easier path. Every time something felt difficult, he postponed it. Every time fear appeared, he hid behind another excuse. Steve slowly put his phone down and looked at himself in the mirror. For a moment, he didn't recognize the person staring back. Then he said something quietly, almost like a promise. No more excuses. The next morning, Steve woke up earlier than usual. Nothing magical had changed. He still had the same job. The same problems. The same fears. But something inside him was different. His mindset had changed. Instead of saying, I'll start tomorrow, he started that very day. Instead of waiting for perfect conditions, he worked with what he had. Instead of complaining about time, he created time. At first, the progress was slow. Some days were frustrating. Some days he felt like quitting again. But whenever excuses tried to return, Steve remembered that night. The night he realized that excuses were quietly stealing his future. So he kept moving forward. Day by day. Step. Weeks later, he noticed something surprising. The work that once felt impossible had started becoming easier. The fear that once stopped him had slowly disappeared, and the confidence he had always wanted was finally growing inside him. One evening, while walking home, Steve suddenly smiled, because for the first time in many years, he felt proud of himself. Not because he had already achieved success, but because he had finally started. My friends, the lesson of this story is very simple. Success does not begin with talent. It does not begin with money. And it does not begin with perfect opportunities. Success begins the day you stop making excuses. Because excuses are comfortable. but they keep us stuck. Action is difficult, but it moves us forward. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready yet. This is too hard," stop for a moment and ask yourself one question. Is this a real problem or just another excuse? And remember something very important. Your future is not decided by your dreams. It is decided by your actions. So maybe today can also become the day you stop making excuses, the day you take the first step, the day your real journey finally begins.